Wow, putting a stereo in the Crossfire here, and what a time, because I didn't have the proper tools. Usually you have these little tools to release. You stick them in the side of the units and it releases the little locking mechanism in the sleeve. But I noticed this one had the little slots down here built right into the deck, because it has no sleeve really. It's got it's a built-in sleeve, I guess. But here's the little, I wasn't sure how the mechanism worked really on this particular, the Infinity stereo, but this is what it does. So anyway, I thought, well, what do I have? I tried the different tools that I did have. That wasn't working. So I found this piece of aluminum, and actually it was originally for you hang it on the wall and you put one of those round thermometers for outside. So I thought, well, I can take my snips, and I couldn't find anything on the internet for removing these out of a Crossfire. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll just stick it in the hole and I'll feel around and see what and it just fit to it. Just happened to work from a piece of junk that I had. So anyway, I thought, well, if I stick it in, and like I said, I didn't know what was going on back here, but I thought if I could feel around a little bit. And so what I did was I managed to stick it in. I don't know if I can recreate it again, and just grab it and move it just enough. But then you see, the other tools, they help you disengage the hook, and then it also gives you something to pull on. But this wasn't, that's why it's all bent up, because I was kind of trying to force it this way and pull a little bit. And then I come over here and I bend it and I pull a little, and I finally got it out to the point where I could pull it right out. But the harness that I got, I don't think it's going to fit this one. So that kind of sucks. So I got one, and I guess I gotta order one, because this one is it's for Chrysler, but I couldn't see Crossfire on it anywhere. But I thought I'll try it. But anyway, it's not working. So anyway, I'm just going to leave it loose, because that was a hell of a job to get that out. But now I'm going to put this on YouTube so somebody else can hopefully, because I was trying to take the dash apart and I couldn't find any screws to release or anything. But really it's quite simple if you have the tool. You have the tool, and I took a couple of screws out here thinking, it would release some of this spacing. But nope, some of the trim. Anyway, it's nice and neat in there. I just need, I could probably cut these wires and just wire it straight up to my other unit that I got, but I might see if I can get something later. Okay, now I'm gonna try and wire this up manually. So I got my tester here, and I'm gonna find the ground. I'm gonna try maybe the track on the on the power seat here. Put it right down there. Now I'll see if I get the inside is positive. So I got lights, good. So now I got a way to test this. All I have to do is run through this, and the key is on now. So I'll turn it off, and I'll see if I get a constant. There should be a constant power here somewhere. One of these. There, okay. So that one is your constant 12 volt. I'll turn the key on, and that should give me my switch. So one of these should be power. That one's not. One of these are. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Okay. So then this is your constant, because that'll be on when the key is off. This has always got power. And then this one is off now, but when I turn it on, okay, I got power. Okay. So this is your constant, and this is your switched on. Now, so this is the wire harness. I just separated the green, the white, and these are the speakers, and the 4 speakers there. And the yellow is the constant, and the red one is the ignition wire, I guess you call it, and of course the black is the ground, and these are What are these? Antenna connection stuff I'm not going to be needing. Mute and the steering wheel. Don't need that stuff. Steering wheel remote. Don't need that. So what I'll do, once I get the power and the ground hooked up, then I'll be able to just play around and do it old school, I guess, and just trial and error. Find out which ones are front left, front right, and so on. So I got a little ground here, and up here, I'll just have to check to make sure that's going to work. I'm going to connect my little tester, and see here, I'll touch the center, see if I can get some light, yep, okay, so that ground works, that'll be my ground. So I'll hook the ground to the wire harness here temporarily. For now. Alright, so now I just have to hook up the power and then start figuring out which wires are which. That's going to be the fun part. Alright, let's try this and see what happens. Alright, so we got power. I'm kind of thinking I might just cut those wires. I can always put it back together again. If I ever sell the car, I'm not letting the deck go. I'll put the old deck in, and yeah, so I just have to, once I establish that, I just got to establish the front wires or front speakers. I'll just have to touch them and see, I guess. Okay, so I've had to put the old deck back on again to do a little troubleshooting, because when I tried to hook the other harness up, I got the power leads and stuff like that. I had a hell of a time to get a good ground down there, but I finally figured that out. But this is the harness, so I thought, well, maybe I better put the harness back together again, put on the old unit, and I'll try and isolate the speakers at least. Because I found out these two blue ones, they run the, well, I better fade it to the, now we'll fade it all the way to the left, because these are the left ones. And I think there's only two channels, left and right, and everything else is hooked to that. So if I can do this with one hand, it's hard to do. So that gives you your left. So I know, anyway, the blue ones on this deck are the left channel, and I'm assuming these yellow ones, because they're grouped together in four. There's these two blue ones, and then there's these two yellow ones, and they're on the top section, and the rest is all power. And I don't know what the hell these other wires, like this brown one and this blue one, I don't know. But I thought I'd hook everything back up again, and I'll just cut them. And if it changes the sound, I'll know what it does. Alright, so I got no power, and I snipped this little blue one. Now blue ones usually are remote wires. But I'm not sure if there's an amp in this car, like a factory amp. But there must be, because I have my little tester, and it's got a ground, and the unit is putting out 12 volts, but there's no power here, right? So that would tell me that this is a remote, and I wasn't sure about that, but now I know. Okay, so that's important. So I need to supply power to this one. Okay, so I'll put this back up and I'll cut this one and see if that affects the sound. Okay, so I just cut this brown one and nothing happened. So I guess that's not an important wire, that one. But this is your remote, so there must be an amp in it, and these yellow ones, I'm assuming, are the right channel. So this is negative, positive, left channel, front and rear, I guess, because they must just come out like straight into the amp, because I can't fade it with this unit. I can't. I can only fade left to right. I can't front to back. Well, I guess this being a two-seater, there's basically only front anyway. Actually, I thought this was a blue wire, but it kind of looks blue through the viewfinder, but it's more green. Yeah, I don't know. There's a blue strip on it, but usually a solid blue is your remote for whatever. So anyway, I cut that brown one, and yeah, so that didn't affect the sound any. So Now I'm going to see what these yellow ones are all about. So I read in the manual that this brown mute one is for the GPS. If you have GPS, it'll mute your music when it's given instructions, I guess, or directions. So I won't need to worry about that. Okay, so I got that hooked up. There's one little wire here. I didn't investigate that one. I should have. We'll see what happens when I turn this on. Alright, so we got power. Okay, so I hooked up the other two. Tuner. So there's the finished product. Everything works pretty good. I haven't got the antenna hooked up yet. I'll have to get an adapter for that so I can plug the radio in, but it works really well. I got the Bluetooth to my phone, so all my tunes are in my phone, so I can't give an example of what it sounds like, but it sounds really well.